Hey, fatties! We have JusJrdn here today. Jordan Perizone. He's going to tell you fat pigs how to lose weight eating one meal a day for a year. Non-stop, 365 days, he ate one meal a day. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel called JusJrdn. Okay, he's a rapper. And I'm going to let him talk here about his one meal a day experience. So let's get started, buddy.
All right. Thanks for having me on. This is always a vibe. So I did one meal a day for a full year. Ended up being like the 366 days because even the next day I was so locked into the one meal a day that I just was like, man, I'm not even hungry in the morning. And I'm already back on the one meal a day too. It's so simple. It's the easiest to track. It's the best for my sleep. I've gotten stronger, leaner, more consistent, and it's left me great. So I've lost 48 pounds in total, doing nothing but eating in a slight calorie deficit the entire time. Dialed it into about 1,800 to 2,000 calories, and yeah, I'm feeling great.
So would you say that since you did it for 365 days straight, I'm pretty sure we can define that as a potential lifestyle for people, right?
That's a great, absolutely. I remember at the beginning of this fucking thing, so many people were like, this is unsustainable. You're never going to lose any weight.
The
And
fact
then,
that you're saying that at the end even.
oh,
So
bro,
it's unsustainable after you've been doing it for 365 days.
bro. They're like, you're going to be malnourished. And I was like, bro, do you not see that I'm strong as fuck?
Now, how
It's
much weight did you lose?
48, like, I think 48.6 pounds to be exact.
So about average a pound a week, about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And especially if we average it out for like the week of Christmas and shit, there's a couple weeks where I went kind of all out on the meals, but this is still going on dates. This is still family holidays. I was able to eat one meal a day through all of the bullshit, through my birthday, everything, and still continuously lose weight slowly.
Yeah, so when you really, at the very start of this, like, yeah, you had fluff on you.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some people that are morbidly obese. Basically, I've been really talking about the last while how to go from morbid obese to where you started at literally takes no effort.
Yeah.
Like, that's how lazy these fat people are. Like, to go from morbid obese to where you were at to start with, if they just ate the meal a day and forgot about it and actually, got up, because the sitting time is ridiculous. Like, that's most people that are super fat don't even have to do anything. They just got to start standing up and live a normal life where they're moving at all.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even have to go to the gym. They just got to clean their house and make their bed and spend a few hours like just keeping busy a day. But you were actually going from what I would call you were still like in the top 1 percentile. like you were like, that's the problem with the internet. People are so desensitized to reality that they look at you having a bit of a gut, at 230. You're still literally, if you took 1,000 men in the United States right now, you would have still been in the top 10% for how much body fat you had on you, which is ridiculous.
Facts.
So to go from like 300 pounds or 400 pounds or some crazy numbers like that, just eating the meal a day, not even trying to strain the diet by yanking the food back, you would get there eventually, but they don't have any basically discipline to go the long haul.
Yeah.
They're so short-sighted, right? Where you went from probably, I guess, like, if we're talking body fat percentage, you're probably around 25 to 30 to start with.
For sure.
And then, now, like, and then if you're floating around 180, you're probably like somewhere between 10 and 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, so you lost about a pound a week average, but if you took your exact diet and you gave it to somebody that was 300 pounds, especially in the beginning, they're not going to be hungry at all because they got so much fat they can run off of that they're naturally just going to eat less, and it's going to be even faster weight loss. The speed of the weight loss, because some people will be, saying, "Oh, you only lost 50 pounds in a year." Well, you only had 50 pounds to lose. All right.
Word.
So you
Word.
you put somebody on that same you make somebody copy your exact lifestyle that was like, say it was you and you were 400 pounds, you would have lost even a crazier amount of weight, because it's like that's easy weight loss. When you were
Yeah.
talking to go from morbid obese to normal, I would say you at your very normal, where you're pretty much just on a meal a day. If you were just eating whatever, as long as you had some constraints to the time that you're eating, and you make sure you do prioritize, certain, like if you're training hard with the weights and stuff, like you got to get a minimum amount of protein, like
Yeah.
regardless. And then you eat pretty much whatever you want. You're probably going to level out at pretty like right where you're at, like probably somewhere between 180, 190. Not even tracking shit, just eating the meal
Yeah.
a day diet. Just eat the
Yeah.
meal a day diet, you fat pigs. If nothing's working, just eat a meal a day. Just fast all day and eat a meal a day. Fast all day. I'll plug the old snake juice.
Yes.
Okay, just fast all day on some salt water and eat your meal at night. Repeat, done. And if you get your ass off the couch, because people, they dwell so much in diet that truthfully, it's the inactivity is so bad that that's actually the real problem. When we're talking morbid obese to normal, not normal to rip. That's a whole nother game that we don't even need to discuss, because most people have no business worrying about that, but they do worry about it because they literally compare themselves to everybody on social media, and they can't even get to normal. Right. But yeah, when you're talking going from obese to normal, just a meal a day diet over time will get you there, and just get off the screen time is actually the biggest problem probably for a lot of this, because it keeps people seated, and it doesn't let people leverage boredom. So then screen time's number one. People always want to. It actually gets pretty crazy with diet, and that's why you were even eating some junk lots of days. Like, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what you fucking eat. It really got to get to a normal body weight. Like even me, I have to eat. I have to force feed and eat trash just to crack over 200 pounds.
Word.
So that means that any man that's 300 or 400, if he ate my trash routine, my dog shit routine, and that's with me doing minimal actual cardio and just pumping iron, he's going to get from the 300 or 400 to my 200. Like, people forget that. They're always, and if you take away the screen time and the inactivity, I always use children as the example. Literally, people get so, like, we've had food that was not great quality for like 80 years. The one thing that's changed is the amount of screen time and the sitting time. And that's what makes people eat. So if they're not, say, doing a meal a day diet, and they're still trying to just grind on eating, through the day, that at least it puts constraints on them not being able to eat during that part of the day. So if they were gonna piss around and use the internet, then they can't just sit there and eat, because most people don't eat in silence. People don't. They always are eating with the other little like the cell phone or the movie or some sort of a screen. They don't eat just in silence, right? But that's where a meal a day really takes care of that problem. And that's why I say with children, if you have a kid and you take all the screens away from the kid, if the kid had no screens, so no video games, no cell phone, no laptop, no iPad, nothing, right? No screens, it wouldn't matter what you fed that kid. That kid is going to be ripped. Because we were all ripped eating trash when I was a kid, because we didn't have all the games and shit. Right? We didn't have all the games to keep us seated. And that's the same with adults. Adults, if people want to like blame the food, they're trying to kill us, blah blah. And it goes down this big conspiracy theory bullshit, because they don't want to admit that they're completely hooked on their stupid screen use. And that is actually what's making somebody, again, we're talking normal body weight to morbid. That's what makes you morbid, not the food. Not the food has nothing to do with going from a normal body weight to morbid. It's a secondary, like it's not the direct cause. It's just it's a side effect of being entertained by all these screens, is because you eat when you're like, you know what I mean? You're sitting there eating, and then you're not burning the calories. Metabolism goes to shit. But when you're eating a meal a day, then you know it does put that constraint on the time.
Absolutely. And I actually, it's funny you even are mentioning, because one thing I did notice about eating the one meal a day is I was consuming way less content. You know, there was never a reason for me to fucking stop in the middle of the day to watch a thing on TV or something.
Exactly. And
Interesting.
people settle in. Because, like, well, I'm going to watch this thing for an hour on YouTube on the cell phone. And, of course, that's got to go along with some snack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the problem. Again, the problem to get to an obese state is not the food. It is not the food. Because if it was the food, I would be 300 pounds. I was telling people I was eating crazy amounts of trash. I couldn't get over 200. It's the only way on OMAD, I can't get over 200. And that's going to McDonald's every night and eating like 4,000 calories. Because as soon as I get up, like say if I'm 185 or something, as soon as I start chipping up to 200 pounds, my BMR goes up enough that it starts counterbalancing that extra like 500 to 1,000 calories. And I'll literally start, I'll gain weight. And as long as I stick to strict OMAD, where I'm not having another meal during the day, if I'm eating that diet, I cannot get over 200-pound body weight on a meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's watching this, that just proves that the food is bullshit when it comes to going from a normal body weight to being completely grossly obese.
Interesting. It's all distraction and mindless action. It's all
And
the
then,
things that putting.
people get so distracted by they're hating and they're, like I say, they're so fearful of the food companies and shit that they don't even look at what the real problem is. The problem is the screen time. Screen time is the problem, period. And if they actually graft it, and OMAD at least counters that problem, because the screen time is when people are knocking the food back. But like you said, if you're fasting all day, even if you did watch a podcast midday, so what? You're not eating at least during that podcast.
Word.
Right? And you can see it with kids. There's not one kid that would ever have even an ounce of fat on them. I know, because we ate some trash, but it didn't matter because we were so active and we weren't sitting. It didn't make a damn bit of difference, because two things happen. You end up eating less when you're busy because you're leveraging boredom, because you're not just getting sucked into sitting there looking at screens. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing, so you're burning more calories from the movement, and then also, so you're burning more calories because the boredom just keeps you moving. And then obviously the like the food choices would just be, it doesn't matter if it's dirty or not. Oh, you're just not eating as much because the time. So the activity is way higher, and then the amount of actual time that you're giving yourself to even eat is way lower. And absolutely. You bring the screens in, the time you're giving yourself to eat ends up being way higher, because anytime you have a screen that's sitting there, you're obviously, now you have time to sit there and watch that screen and then eat. And then the other thing is the activity just dropped through the floor because you're obviously sitting, right?
Yeah.
So if you put your phone on, you're listening to a podcast on the treadmill, like, go hard. But then you're not eating, are you?
And that's what it is. And that's one of my biggest things too, for even on the days when I'm not training, not getting a hard hit in, just throwing on an audiobook or a podcast and just fucking going for a walk for the length of the podcast, you know? And it's just
That's another good point too. You almost, even with the meal a day diet, you almost like trust your meal a day diet. Like in one meal a day, I trust, because you have like a low activity day, but you know even though you had a low activity day, even if the meal got kind of loose that night, you know that you're not going to have this big ass. You might hold a bunch of water maybe from some dirty food for a day or two, but you're not going to have like a big calorie surplus.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know, because you're still fasting all day. And again, even yourself, like, you know, you got some size on you, some muscle. So even you at 200, like, you know, you at 200, shit, man, like, you're like way more slim than most people in the world in the North America. But people are so brainwashed by YouTube that they're like, they'll compare you to like some other jackass that's like literally, you know, it's their job to be ripped, right?
Yeah.
And that is a big point as well, because some people, because it's their job to be ripped, they're sacrificing a lot of living to be a certain body weight to be very lean. Because I know that firsthand. Because when I've been very lean, there is consequences to that. My work capacity is not even close to as good. I'm not as resilient. I'm not as tough when I'm and I'm not talking like I'm not talking like super chubby to really ripped. I'm talking maybe like 10 pounds over like that really ripped body, you know?
Yeah.
It's night and day. Like, you know, for example, like we're living in Canada, like have fun, you know, trying to run a low enough amount of food where you got to go shovel snow all morning or something, or you're going to go, or you got friends that want to go skidooing or some shit, you know? So
what examples,
you know
bro?
So like there's a lot of things to that where there's a lot of people got to choose their lifestyle. So that's why I'm making this transition into getting people from fat pigs to normal. But a lot of people don't even know what normal is.
And that's
They don't even
true.
know what normal is. And that's why I have like guys that are always confused whether they should bulk or cut. Don't do either. Don't do either. Don't bulk or cut. Just eat normal. And if you want to stick to a meal a day diet, which is obviously pretty normal if you did it for 365 days, a meal a day diet is very normal, to be honest. There's people in other countries that eat like that their whole life, basically. It's not that extreme to eat a meal a day. It's not that extreme to fast all day. And, you know, like you have a cup of black coffee, some snake juice or some tea. Like talk about that a little bit, what you kind of did during the day.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. So every morning, even still, wake up first thing, glass of snake juice. First thing, wake up, snake juice, stay hydrated. Then after that, big on cold brew. And even right now, I've been drinking. I have about one glass of coffee, and then I might have one or two glasses of tea, just plain. This is just like a pomegranate green tea, no sugar, no nothing in it. Won't break the fast, and then just tons of water throughout the day, sparkling water. And then typically what I've been doing to break my fast now is I might shoot some apple cider vinegar like 30 minutes before. And then I've been eating I'll usually eat a couple cups of vegetables.
So we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so much more satiating. So then I'll break the fast with some veggies. I might big right now. I'm on the kimchi just for the probiotics aspect of it, the fermented vegetables. Then I'll typically have some meat, and it was mostly just vegetables and meat, and I would just eat a bowl of vegetables, and then I would just eat a massive bowl of meat, and then by the end of that, I'm full. You know, it's like you have a huge bowl of vegetables followed by a huge bowl of meat covered in salt. You're done. And
Yeah,
then I
like
might.
that volume from those vegetables is like excellent for weight loss. Like vegetables are the weight loss king. All right. Contrary to some of these groups that are like anti-vegetable, blah blah blah. Like I've never ever like even like strict keto, when we're talking like low protein, high fat, like actual being in ketosis, I've never promoted only the meat. I was always pounding like cucumbers and pickles, or I would do broccoli. I remember I did bacon and broccoli for months. Like, you know, vegetables are the hack when it comes to volume, because your body's still going to want a certain amount of nutrition from some other foods, like protein and carbs or whatever. But to cover some of the volume to get that stomach stretch, vegetables are king.
Yeah.
And sadly, there's people out there that are so anti-vegetable that they can't lose weight. They can't, like, if you're a fat pig, you should be eating like 2 kilos of salad every night if you're doing OMAD. Like, you can get those bags of salad that are 1.3 kilograms.
Yeah.
So imagine you're a fat ass, okay, you're a fat ass, and you wait all, and then you break your fast with like some vinegar or whatever, and then you have like a bag of salad covered with salt. Like, you're barely even gonna want to eat.
Yeah.
The only time you even run into an issue with OMAD for anybody would be somebody that really wants to pack on some tissue, like some muscle, perhaps, and they're not worried about weight loss already, and they are hammering it hard and tearing up the muscles where they might end up, if they want to have a little more recovery and they're training with a little more like a higher volume split or whatever, they might have to eat more. But
Yeah.
even then, you can train with some serious volume if you're like eating a loose 1 meal a day diet at night. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like smashing it in at night in that meal and just making sure that's when you would pull back some of the vegetables and add in more potatoes and rice and starch and protein, because the volume, you don't want it high at that point because you don't want to be trying to run a massive deficit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can you can manipulate that meal a day diet however the hell you want,
Oh,
you
for
know.
sure.
But as long as you're just sticking to that 1 meal a day diet, and then if you want to throw in a longer fast once in a while, which I think you might have did a longer one a couple times, or what you might want
Yeah.
to throw in a lot. Some people might want to chuck in a little longer fast once in a while on some snake juice or whatever, or a
Mm-hmm.
dry fast or whatever, But what did you do for longer fast in that time period?
So the longest fast I ended up doing was 36 hours. I did a couple 36 hours because it was still technically one meal a day. If I ate, say I ate Sunday morning and then I ate Monday night, I would still be eating one meal a day, but the time span was so much. And then what I would end up doing is, because I wasn't used to eating in the mornings, I would just naturally eat way less food
Oh, you
that
do.
day
Yeah.
and then just stuff myself full of water and then just kind of go on. And so it was super simple. Once I made it through that night, the next day was a breeze because I knew I was going to eat at the end of the
I
day.
have a question here from someone. It's not a bad one. Dub V donated me $5. Says, for OMAD, do you try to hit the protein macros, or do you focus on trying to hit the certain amount of calories? For fat people, again, from fat people trying to go from just fat to normal, just first thing, just stick to the 1 meal a day diet. In fact, at the start, don't even worry about any of the other shit. Just get used to eating the 1 meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can piss around. That's pretty much what you even did.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the macros, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're somebody that wants to pump a bunch of iron, or you're doing a lot of strength training, then you better make sure you're hitting a minimum on that protein. Like, you're in the meal, probably at the bottom end, like maybe 0.6, 0.7 grams per pound protein of ripped body weight, which most of you fat pigs don't even have a clue what you would be ripped. What I'd recommend for the men is about somewhere between maybe 3/4 of a pound to a pound of meat ish, and
Mm-hmm.
then make up the rest with it with whatever the hell you want. And now, if that's not your lifestyle, you can run that protein real low. Like, if you're doing mostly cardio, you can hammer them carbs way up. But again, if you're a fat guy or a fat woman and you just stick to the meal a day diet, you're gonna get there. Like, yeah, is there macros that might be optimal? Like, yeah, maybe. Like, who gives a shit about optimal? You just want to get there. Like, look what Jordan did. He did it for 365 days. Make that your goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just do the damn diet for 365 days, and you'll learn as you go. Like, you learn what stuff puffs you up and what
Yep.
stuff makes you like feel like light the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good question. What did you just say there? That fucking. Oh God, it just slipped my
Well,
mind.
while you're remembering that, let me just make sure I answered this fully.
Yeah.
So yeah, the protein count on OMAD, if it's me, obviously it depends on the training split. Let's say you're an average Joe and you're not even going to the gym and you're just working a job, which People that have that excuse, oh, I can't eat one meal a day because I'm working a job. Shut the fuck up. I've been talking about high volume training for the last 2 weeks. I put in so much light volume. A few of those days at the gym, I was in there for 4 hours.
Oof.
Some of you guys are working an 8-hour job. You weren't even doing close to the volume I am in that 4 hours at the gym as you were doing in your 8 hours. And I was doing a meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing a meal a day and you're a male and you got a gut on you, if you just eat that one meal a day diet and go to work and hold off till the evening and eat the meal a day, get your ghrelin used to eating at that same time after work. You just stick to the damn diet. If you crave more protein some nights, listen to your damn body. Okay, a lot of people don't listen to their bodies. There's no intuition. They're just listening to every jackass on YouTube. So even me, when I'm telling you a protein count, okay, it's you. It's not if you go to eat your meal that night, if you're like, geez, I just crave some chicken thighs, and you don't really have a craving for a bunch of carbs, then eat more meat. Maybe that night you're like, geez, I want some like rice or some pasta or something, and I don't really need a bunch of protein. Then carb the fuck up. So what? That's it. And then maybe you want something that's a little fattier. Again, we're talking fat asses to normal. It ain't gonna matter. Don't worry about the macros and all this shit when you're just like you weren't even really tracking shit for a longest time and you were still chipping down nicely.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. When I first started, for the first like month, I didn't give a shit. It was just eat the one meal.
That's
I
right.
remember before the Oilers played the one day, me and my homie we went to Five Guys. I got like 2, 3 burgers, huge ass double patty burgers, just smashed them, didn't care, was still down that week,
That's actually a good point. What I'll recommend to people too, like you could even I like if people could start with like a 48 or a 72-hour fast starting a new diet. It's kind of nice because it gives them a little bit of motivation just on the scale. But coming off that fast, just eat as much as you want in that sitting, but don't eat all night. Just eat big in the sitting and then be done with it. And what I recommend is even drink a lot of fluid before the meal. Like, make sure you get, I like to always go into a meal like with a lot of, like a lot of water or the vegetables or something. So then it'll cap the other foods that are higher caloric density, right? But at the start, like what you did, there's perfect. And I'll tell you again, like what you did, man, like there's guys that come to me that are like anybody that's over like 250, all right? Anybody that's over like you were 230, any fat ass watching this, you can eat a meal a day at Five Guys and eat as much as you want in that sitting. And I guarantee you, if you're getting your ass off the couch somewhat and have a job, you are going to get to a normal body weight. And that would be eating that. And it's so simple.
So simple, bro.
Like if you stick to a meal a day yourself, there's just no way you're going to get up to fucking 200 pounds eating that one meal a day. There's no way.
No, you just can't eat enough. And even when I was done, the 1 year, I just noticed when I went to go celebrate and eat my face off, I went to go smash more food and I just couldn't. It just wasn't, my body's so accustomed to and I'm so aware of when I'm actually full. Like, the whole 1 year, the understanding I have of how my body reacts and how my body reacts to certain foods, my education is, and I've done tons of different dieting, but because the variable is never the time. It's always I'm sitting and eat one meal, so it's what did I eat in that one meal that made me feel like this today?
Yeah, exactly. And then because it's only one meal, it's easy to pick out the problem.
Yeah.
Not to mention that fasting window, there's definitely some benefit there with like, say, if you have any inflammation or flare up. Like sometimes what I'll do is if I'm really getting heavy on the iron, like which I've been doing lately, I've been smashing weights really hard. But if I feel like there's something that like I got a little bit of inflammation or something like that, then I'll always, that's when the fasting, the longer period is always going to be a tool regardless, right? You know, it's always a good tool.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's so easy to troubleshoot. And then talk about when you weighed yourself too. Because on a meal a day, I tell people if you're eating the meal a day at night at like say 5 p.m. or whatever, you just weigh yourself right before you eat and make sure you don't slam fluid before the weigh-in. What I normally would do if I was eating that meal a day at night, I would make sure I didn't drink a bunch of fluid a couple hours before, and then I'd weigh in, and then I'd smash in a bunch of fluid, wait for a little bit, and then I would eat.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's essentially
accurate weight log as well.
And that
go ahead.
Oh, that was essentially what I was doing as well. I would sometimes throw in a sauna or a hot bath or something at the end of my workout. So then right after that, I would weigh in and then I would typically eat right after.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and some people still screw that up. Like, if you're eating at night, why would you weigh in the morning? You're gonna be bloated. You're gonna be a fat ass right in the morning still.
Facts. And every morning.
Morning weigh-ins are the normal stereotypical time to weigh in if you're eating a diet where you're eating like say whatever 2-3 squares or whatever. Yeah. But when you're eating a meal a day and if it's happening at night, and I'm not saying you got to eat the meal a day at night. A lot of people might do really good smashing a meal at noon.
Yeah.
You know, I've done a meal a day in the morning at breakfast. Like that is a lot harder to hold on to though. Right? That's a lot harder to hold on to. So at night, we're talking again. I can't drill this into people's heads enough. We're talking about going from a fat ass pig to normal. We're not talking about getting ripped. Okay, I'm done with that because trying to coach that, a lot of fat asses are literally doing shit that is meant to go from normal to ripped. You have no business even doing those diets like these people. Yeah. They need to do something that they know it's gonna take them to a normal ass body weight.
Yeah.
Where I'll see people like, let's get real, like strict keto, like I'm talking low protein, high fat, like I'm talking 20-80 macros. That is literally a protocol to go from like already a good body weight. Like there's guys that'll use that to cut for a bodybuilding show. Like I didn't use that to get really lean, you know? But even that's not a sustainable diet for most people. Most people, as soon as you yard carbs out of their diet, they ain't sustaining shit.
Yeah,
facts. But it's funny, because I got to bring this up lately. So,
what do you have to say?
Because I was literally the first guy to pump out fucking real electrolyte salts, zero sugar in here. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with sugar. Shit, I was preaching a sugar diet. But if you don't want any calories or sugar on a fast, which I still preach that, or if you're doing, say, OMAD and you want no calories or sugar or anything, like the snake juice has no calories or sugar in it. But that element, all these people that were like carnivore advocates and zero carb advocates, they're pumping that element electrolyte powder has a bunch of sugar in it. All these people are like, oh, sugar's gonna kill you. Sugar's bad. Sugar, bad. And then they're literally promoting their zero carb community to drink sugar water.
Bruh.
That was probably keeping some of them people actually on the diet because they're getting a little bit of real sugar in their diet. So it's actually making them sustain something longer than they would have. I thought it was comical.
It's so crazy.
Snake juice is still king, baby. Sodium and potassium. And you can make your own at the grocery store. And there's actually salt in this. Like even some of these other electrolyte powders, like the packets that we sell here, there's actually like volume in here. You know, there's some real volume. Like, you know, there's like 1,300 milligram of potassium, like 1,000 milligram of sodium in a pack. Where these other electrolyte powders, there's like no actual salt even in them. It's a waste of money. Like you might as well just be drinking Gatorade if there's still some sugar in it. Because it's not a bunch. Like that's why you know, if you're doing straight long fasting, you need to get some like real salt in.
Yeah.
Because you'll be dumping salt like crazy. And I think even in those element packs, there's only like, it's like 200 measly grams of potassium and 1,000 milligram of sodium or something like that. It's just, there's no volume in there. You know, it was just funny because a lot of people I was doing interviews with back in the day that now hate on me. Literally, they're having me on there. I was actually, that's when I had way more subscribers than all these jackasses. And they were having me on their stuff. And literally, they all started pumping that electrolyte powder that was supposed to be all like sugar, like friendly, sugar free. And like the very people that are like zealots, like dogmatic to any sort of carbohydrate, had all their people drinking sugar water.
Bruh.
Not to mention, what do you think happens when they put a fat pig on an IV in the hospital? What do you think's in there? Straight dextrose and snake juice, baby. And you know how much weight they'll lose? Like some of these fat pigs that come to me, that's what they need to be on. They need to be hooked to a fucking IV with no fucking food other than because guess what happens with that sugar? It makes you keep your metabolism revved up to the gills from that sugar drop.
Word.
In the hospital, they put you on sugar and salt. And there's people in a coma, and people trying to be like, oh, well, I thought your metabolism will slow down or your weight loss will stall. Yeah, that's why they went from 400 pounds or 300 pounds down to like 150 pounds when they're in a coma on a drip. People are just foolish. Like, I'm just wanting to get into the whole sugar thing because like literally people are so scared to death of sugar because a lot of these jackass, like, it just gets so dogmatic where you have people like shaming sugar, but what they'll show people is like pastries and like donuts, and it's literally fat latent junk. It's and let's get real, the macro, like fat in the presence of zero carb, low protein, you know, you're gonna get results from that. But is that diet sustainable? No, it's not for like one person, you know. But like you talk about like when you start knocking fat out of your diet or keeping it a little lower if you're trying to actually get lean, like fat's 9 calories a gram. You're never gonna get around the calorie count. Like anybody's diet, it doesn't matter what they're doing. If they yard the calories down and they're stalled on weight loss and they pull out a few grams of fat, they're gonna start seeing some weight loss again. Like
facts.
But it was just funny because you know the snake juice. I always told people you can go to the grocery store, make your own. If you want to support me, you can buy some snake juice. But you know, it was just funny because all these people are making all this money on some of these other electrolyte powders and the way the multi-level marketing thing works. And literally, they blatantly lied on the package about how much like dextrose or how much like sugar's in it, which I don't even care. I don't even care if there's sugar in it, but these people care. These
Word.
and you got guys, when you got these freaking carnivore doctors out there literally selling them like electrolyte powders with sugar in them, in the same video, they're like, sugar bad, sugar bad.
Bruh. Bruh.
But like when you're eating that meal a day diet, like you can get away with a lot because like you're definitely you're restricting. Like sorry, fatty, like something's got to break, something's got to give. Like yeah, you're restricting somewhere. You know, like yeah, you're not eating all day. Oh well, you're a fat pig. Like you want to lose weight or not? People are always just looking for the easy road. You know.
Oh, for sure. And it's so crazy because it's like, I did the one meal a day for a year. I think nothing of it. I'm back on doing the one meal a day today, thinking nothing of it. I've been talking to some people. They're like, you only once a day? I could never. I would die. You're so disciplined. I was like, bro, one meal a day. If you can't eat just one meal a day every once in a while, you got no self-control. No self-control at all.
Regardless, there would have been times, a million times, where I would have went all day in school with no food. And now, don't
Exactly.
get me wrong. There's going to be people that are in excellent shape. There's the majority of people that, let's say we took everybody that's at a normal body weight. So let's say a good body weight. Most of them don't eat a meal a day. but they also are on the screens all day. So it does, again, like the diet still does not matter as much as activity. And I don't even mean rigorous activity. I just mean not sitting. Sitting is death. All right. Like I was promoting standing time, like literally like 5 years ago. And people just couldn't get it through their head. I was telling people, just stand up. So just get up. It's like that movie. It's like that movie. Just look up. You know, it's like these fat pigs that just get up and wash their fucking house, clean their house. Yeah. And you know what? Now there's science coming out. Like we need science to back this up. Like I seen somebody sent me a video the other day that DeLauer did, showing a study that said how basically they had some groups of people and they had one group do some vigorous activity for about an hour a day and just sit on their ass the rest of the day. And there was another group that just like did regular activity that wasn't even going to the gym, but they had way more volume, way more active volume on the day, like standing time, that lost a pile of weight compared to the people that were even going to the gym. I've been preaching this for 5 years. Now you need this is where people are so fucked. They need a study. Like you need a study to tell you that you're going to lose more weight standing versus sitting. Like it's fucking insane.
To weight loss.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's revolutionary. And the thing is, like, oh my God, it's like where have people been? Dieting. Nothing's like, there's nothing new. There's been nothing new created in diet since like 1950. All right, like even Garanda, which has been 1950s and 60s. The Banting diet, like keto, basically back in the early 1900s for epilepsy. Type 1 diabetics have been controlling their type 1 diabetes with diet for like 100 years. But the thing is, type 1's way more prevalent now because people are fat ass pigs and they become literally insulin dependent because it was type 2 that turned into type 1 because they're just fat. But that's the thing. People are so stupid that they need a study before they'll actually do something and take action. By the time you get your study, you'll be in your fucking grave, you idiot.
Facts, bro. Facts.
Even like the bro science, like with, oh my God, man, like there's so much stuff that people are just so out of tune with their bodies that they just don't even know what the fuck works by listening. They just look in the mirror. Like I was talking about some bodybuilding stuff and work capacity, and people just don't understand that when you're trying to get like strength, you can be extremely strong and still be pretty small due to neurological adaptations. I know this firsthand. Literally, I was small and I was extremely strong when I competed at 74 kg powerlifting. But they don't understand that the workload, the volume. Like I've been really hammering this lately because I was catering to the fucking lazy fuckers with like I was talking about like training once a week.
Yeah.
You can still build a lot of muscle, especially if you're a newbie. Not even a newbie. You can build a lot of muscle in a 1 week training regimen if you're training hard. You know, but like you were doing that for a while, but you're also doing cycling, you're rock climbing, you're like people are always looking for the easy road. Yeah. So lately I told these fucking fat pigs to get in the gym and start hitting fucking reps.
Word.
Fucking reps. And like, you know how much fucking muscle you can build if you're like, again, the fat guy trying to just get to a normal body weight. Again, you wouldn't even have to worry about your diet if you're in the gym for like an hour and a half and fast rest times, man. Like, you know about this shit. When people don't understand, when you're training with a lot of volume, 2 things gotta happen. If you're not getting a nasty, excruciating fucking pump when you're lifting lighter weights, I don't want to say light weights, or like lighter weights where you would fail between maybe like the first set you might get 20 reps or even 30. It makes it worse when it's lighter. If you aren't getting a nasty fucking pump to the point where you gotta fucking like stop or you'll cry, you ain't gonna feel shit. And the only way that's gonna happen is if you're taking short rest intervals. Like I know a lot of people, they really don't hammer on the rest time when you're lifting lighter weights.
Yeah.
Like the work capacity in the window of time matters. But anyway, I've been preaching this hard to these fat pigs because they can go to the gym and just grab weights that feel normal and rep the fuck out of them until there's a nasty pump. And when they start doing that, they're gonna lose weight like crazy because now they'll have like new purpose.
Word.
Oh, but like it's crazy the work capacity. People don't even, man, when I was powerlifting, like when I was 82 kg, one of my mentors, he's the one who taught me this because these bench press only guys, they train like bodybuilders on their volume block. It's specific to bench pressing, right? But the work capacity is insane. Like they're training with like maybe 40 to 50 to 60% of their perceived 1 RM.
Damn.
You know, so like even I've been telling people like how strong you can get by even yourself. Let's say if you were chasing some some big volume on like say flat bench press, and you only lifted 185, and you kept chasing up 185 to where you might do like short rest intervals and sets of 10, maybe like 60, 70 reps, like 10 still failure. If you could chase that 185 up to where you could hit it for like 30 reps.
Word.
Without even touching anything heavier than that ever, your perceived 1 RM would be big, a big number. But mind you, that's where the strength block would come in with power lifters, because then what they do, they basically get big, like jacked, like big on the volume block, which is very similar to how bodybuilders train. So bodybuilders are training more for aesthetics. The power lifters are trained to be strong, but it doesn't change. The volume has got to be big. You got to fucking lift big volume to get fucking big. Straight up.
Word. Yeah.
And you got to train hard as fuck, nasty fucking pumps, crazy lactic acid, fucking burn. And if you need a day off, take a day off. And then to get strong, what you would do is you go to a strength block, and that's where the weights go up, and that's where you're not going till failure with the heavy shit, but it's really fucking heavy. Like the difference, here's an example of volume versus strength when I was bench pressing. Like even the other day. So I hit 5 sets with 185 pounds on a bench press on 90 seconds rest.
Okay.
But then the 6th set, because I was gonna do a 10 by 10. But then I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do 6 sets, but on this last one, I'm gonna smash it. So I already had done 50 reps of my fucking body weight.
Okay.
Right? So that's another thing. If you fucking do your body weight for 30 fucking reps, you're gonna be pretty strong, which these fat pigs can't say that. So I hit 50 reps, then I hit 50 fucking reps with 185. And then on the last set, after only 90 seconds rest, I hit 25 fucking reps with 185 on the last set. And so when I can get up to where I could, like me and you, if we went in the gym cold and did a warm up, and if I can get under this fucking bar and rep out 185 for 35 reps in a row, even though my 1 rep max, I'd be still very strong on a 1 rep max, but that's the work that gets you big. And then all of the 1 rep max preparation is you go to the heavy shit for about 3-4 months. And that's when I'd be doing like triples and doubles with like 5 fucking minutes rest or 3 minutes rest to start, huge rest times, like not really getting a pump, working the nervous system. But the funny part is, on the strength block, I'd actually shrink. I actually get smaller. So for people that are overweight, though, they don't got to worry. This is why I'm just saying this, because all these fucking people go to the gym and they're not. There's no other activity during the week, and they're not hitting any fucking poundage. The number one thing that they need to be worrying about is the fucking poundage. So even like, let's say the 185 pounds I was hitting there. So what did I end up hitting it for? 75 reps. So what's that equal? I don't know, 75. It's 75 times 185 pounds is, let's just say, 70 reps times 200 would be 14,000 pounds of volume if it was 200 pounds. It's going to be somewhere probably close to 14,000 pounds of volume versus when I would train for a strength block and say I work up to maybe, 315 for maybe like 4 or even 5 triples. So even 315 for 5 triples, that's only 5,000 pounds of fucking volume versus 14,000. Even though the 185, yeah, it's only like, that's still like 60% of the 1RM or 50% of the 1RM that I'm training up to. Yeah. But the fucking light weights won't hurt your fucking joints, and you can hammer them, and that light weights is how you get in shape. And it's funny because I remember when I was getting mentored by, he was an excellent bench presser in Canada, right? And he said, he always would say, I'm not in shape yet. He would tell me about his training. And he's talking about getting in shape, like that's the kind of verbiage he would use, because he'd be hammering crazy volume. Because it's the volume that can be, that gives you high strength potential. That's why fucking bodybuilders, that's why natural bodybuilders make really good power lifters if they make a shift and they go power lift for like maybe every second year, because they have big ass fucking muscles and they have really good, they're in condition. And then all they got to do is learn that movement. But anyway, with regards to fat people, especially fat men and women that are trying to get to a normal body weight, they need to go to the gym and they need to hit a fuck ton of rep work. And that's going to make them active and they're not going to get injured. And and if you ain't sweating, if you're lifting weights and you're trying to really put on muscle and try to like really like, crank your metabolism up, if you're not breaking a sweat, you ain't fucking training.
Yeah. Intensity always matters.
Yeah, intensity, and in this case, it's intensity where you're fucking like hitting that crazy burn where you're like doing. It's just, and a lot of people, it's just volume where it's not so critical like tracking like people are always chasing the numbers. Man, it took me a long time to learn this myself, man. People are always chasing the fucking numbers. And what ends up happening, they end up plateauing and sticking. So even remember you were doing that 5x5?
Yeah.
Well, so if I was, say, giving you advice on if you started sticking on that 5x5, so what did you work up to on it?
By the 5x5, I think ended up getting pretty close to 235, 240 maybe.
Yeah, and that was with big rests, right?
Yeah, big rest.
Well, if you take the volume of that, so if you take the volume of that 5x5, so let's say 240 times 25 reps total, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be 240. Ah, shit, I don't know, man. Freaking. Let's say
this math, bro.
6,200, 62. Is it 6,200? I can't remember. Anyway, you take that, and what you do is you knock the weight down from like say 235 down to like 185, but you double the volume. And you not only double the volume, you shorten the fucking rest time down to 90 seconds. And that is how you'll blow through that 235 on that 5x5. Which, this is way off topic to weight loss, like that stuff. But what's on topic is the idea of high volume training for fucking conditioning, because there's a lot of hit zealots out there. Okay. And then don't get me wrong, like, there's a lot of fucking hit zealots where it's like, oh, hit. One fucking set every month. That works perfect. Like, fuck. Are you fucking serious? There's nobody that's going to fucking put on muscle doing hit. that's a fat-ass beginner is they are going to put on if I had them in the gym hitting fucking crazy-ass rep work. Not even fucking comparable. Nobody that's a top-level athlete is doing HIIT. And I mean, they're not doing HIIT for the strength side of it, and they're not doing HIIT for the fucking bodybuilding volume side of it either.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
Because you can get stronger doing like low rep multiple sets than you'll ever get doing HIIT for raw strength. And then you can get bigger. And the thing is, if you're training, this is the problem. All the fucking HIIT zealots think they're like so fucking tough. Like, oh, we're training to failure and shit. Fuck. If you're training hard, high volume, they should call it high volume HIIT training is what they should call it. Because like when I'm training, like when I'm hitting some of these muscle groups, like when guys run the rack and do drop sets and shit, they're not taking any fucking rest.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That is HIIT. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. They always think they're so fucking tough. I'm like, yeah, how tough are you? Try fucking hitting like, 20,000 pounds of volume in 12 minutes. What are you going to get a more result from? Like, let's get fucking real. Like, it's not even, again, people just don't listen to they don't want to work.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Here's the dead truth. HIIT is for fucking dog fuckers. That's what it's for. It's for people looking for a shortcut. It's for people looking for a shortcut. And that's why Menser got so fucking popular later. And I agree with a lot of stuff that Menser still talks about, like being intense and all that shit.
Yeah.
But later, it's because lazy motherfuckers wanted to believe they're going to fucking get huge doing fucking HIIT. And it got so extreme where the volume was like 0. So now you're getting no conditioning. So for fat pigs, if you're fucking thinking about HIIT, like fuck off, fatty, and fucking get in the gym and hit some fucking reps. Because you're not going to get in shape doing HIIT.
Yeah.
You aren't going to get in shape. You know what I mean? That's the problem. They're just lazy motherfuckers.
That's always what it is.
Yeah, and when we're talking about weight loss and out repping a bad diet, you ain't doing it on HIIT. You always have to watch your, like, no fat ass is gonna fucking drop weight without worrying about diet on HIIT. Like if I take a guy that weighs like 500 pounds and he's actually going to the gym every day and he's in there for an hour and a half hitting fucking rep after rep after rep, short rest intervals. So the work capacity is just massive. That guy is going to see so much crazier results without even barely worrying about his diet than the same guy that's fucking doing HIIT. Okay, it's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's attractive because lazy motherfuckers get attracted to it. It's lazy motherfuckers.
Always. Always.
And then they'll bring up, well, what about Dorian Yates? Dorian wasn't doing fucking HIIT. Dorian wasn't doing HIIT in the definition that Menser was fucking prescribing. Not even fucking close. Menser took credit for Yates' routine. Dorian, the amount of volume he was hitting, he was doing a regular bodybuilding split. The amount of fucking volume he was putting on his legs on leg day was nowhere near what Menser used to advocate for. The fucking guy was doing multiple sets, and even his first set, you can fucking argue all you want, there was a warm-up. Yates' first set was still fucking heavy. And then his second set, which was a warm-up, because that's what the HIIT people would want to say, it was fucking still fucking heavy as fuck. And then the third set was the one that he would take to brutal failure at the forced reps, but now he's already hit a whack of poundage, and that's already counting all the other fucking movements that he hit on the day. So he's hitting the hack squat, the leg press, the leg curl, the fucking leg extension, the calf raise. You're going to call that HIIT? When his fucking poundage on the down his legs was in fucking insane, and that goes for every other fucking muscle he was training. He was never doing HIIT. Basically, he was nice enough in the sense where he gave like Menser credit for that. But Yates did not do fucking HIIT.
Wow.
Not even close. In fact, the way you used to train in your bodybuilding would have been like most guys train like Dorian in the 90s. Right?
Yeah.
It was a fucking 4-day-a-week body part split. It was not fucking HIIT.
No, fucking high volume.
Not do fucking HIIT. He was hitting a fuckload of volume. It just gets so fucking retarded. Because and they just it goes with all of it. The diet, they want a fucking shortcut. The fucking building muscle, they want a fucking shortcut. Like, instead of looking for shortcuts, maybe take the hard road and see what happens.
Oh, bro, absolute, and that's exactly what it is. People just want, and that's why the Ozempic and all that bullshit is taking off. Because people finally are like, oh, I can shove something in my ass. I can do fuck all, but they're gonna die early. Did you see that? Talk about
the boys are putting it in their ass after they watch this. Guys, listen. If you fucking put Ozempic up your fucking ass, it'll double your results. Then you can pay me on PayPal at pumpkincontrolscocktail.com. Yeah, fuck, it's true. I could have made a video like that and people would have been doing it. They're idiots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure, bro.
I ruined it, man. I would have trolled the fuck out of that. Fucking got injected up your ass. That's how you do it. Or you gotta take it in a fucking, or you gotta take it in a needle.
Oh,
yeah, you gotta inject it. People are fucking morons, man. Morons. And it's just because they're so fucking lazy.
Yeah.
That's what really makes people. It's not that people are inherently dumb. They just are so fucking lazy that they want to believe that the easy road's the right way, but it's not even close.
Oh, for sure. And that's actually exactly what it is. Because people, if you ask somebody who wants to lose weight what they have to do, they know. They know every single time. I probably need to eat less and move more. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And like I said, they get confused with, eat less, move more. Then you got other guys shitting on that. Yeah. You literally got people that say, oh, it's not just eat less, move more. Well, yeah, it is, you fat fucking pig. What's funny about the move more part, it doesn't have to necessarily be go to the gym. They take it as go to the gym more.
Yeah.
It's standing more. It's scrubbing your fucking floor, fatty. I've never met a fat ass that had a clean house. Man, if they forgot about diet, because again, to go from morbid obese to normal, it's not a diet problem specifically. It's a it's a complete immobility problem is what it is. Mm-hmm. It just cleaned their fucking house daily and just started working, moving, and most of them don't have a fucking job. If they did, they wouldn't be that fat. Word. I mean a job where they're doing something other than just sitting.
Yeah. I see.
And how many of these fat people are broke and they could easily go even clean other people's fucking houses and make money? That's a whole nother fucking topic where there's jobs out there, you fat fuck. You're just not going for those jobs because you don't want to do fuck all.
Yeah.
You make a lot of money with a house cleaning business now because that's how, and you know whose house you'd be cleaning? These fat fucking pigs. And you know what? It's almost embarrassing. Because you would start your fucking house cleaning business, and you'd be going to the house to clean it, and the person answers the door is a 500-pound fat woman, and it's now it's embarrassing, because it's now you see what I'm talking about. It's you're a lean woman that's working your bag off, scrubbing toilets and shit, and then it's well, no wonder this woman's this fat. She doesn't scrub her own fucking toilet.
Yeah.
There's always fucking men. Super fat people are fucking dirty as fuck. All right? They fucking blow all their money on fucking Amazon. They fucking they can't even leave their fucking house to make a purchase. And this is where the internet comes back to what really enables them. Because internet, you can get food at home because of the internet now. So the fat pigs don't even have to go to the grocery store. So let's say going to the grocery store daily, let's say that's 10 pounds a month lost, right? Let's add all that up. So it's okay, fat pig doesn't have internet now, so they have to at least go to the grocery store. Even if they had to drive, at least they got to get up and leave the house. So that'd probably make them lose 10 pounds a month for a few months. And then fat pig actually has to work at a job that's not in home because the internet allows us to work in house. And a lot of these women will brag about, oh, I can work out at my fucking house. Great, Jabba the Hutt. Fuck. You don't want to work out of your fucking house. That's where you fucking get the fattest. The people gain weight at home. If anything, you want to get the fuck out of your house. You don't want to be at home fatty. Like at home, it's at home's the death of you. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem. And then you take away Netflix, right? So you fucking cancel that membership. Anybody that's not making a living off the internet, fucking get rid of your fucking smartphone and get a flip phone.
Yeah.
So now you have no fucking entertainment that way. So now you're gonna definitely your standing time is gonna go through the fucking roof because you're gonna be so fucking bored. You're gonna go do shit, right? And that is weight loss right there in a nutshell. The food has fucking nothing to do with going from a normal weight to morbid obese. Because even you to get up to 230, if you really looked at your day, you were probably pretty inactive to get up to 230, even on a bad diet.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I gained most of my weight during COVID.
Yeah.
And and then I just never increased the mobility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing whatever.
But you still like even at 230 though, you probably got up to 230 and it started to stall out. The weight gain started to stall.
Yeah, for sure.
So I keep saying that eventually, if you're even half-ass active, like what you were, the weight goes up, your BMR goes up because you're bigger, and then it taps out. The only fucking way you get morbid, the only way you get morbid is if you're literally sitting there all fucking day. So you need something that's going to keep you sitting, which is the internet. And then and then that's when you're shoveling the food in. No one is eating gross amounts of food in silence. It always goes hand in hand with the fucking entertainment on the phones.
Yeah. Even if you look at just like a monk or something, they have no restriction on food, but those guys are as thin as a rat because they sit in silence and eat.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
Like as soon as you leverage boredom, where people run from boredom, right? But like
Yeah.
I've used this example a million times. If you take a guy and you put him in a jail cell with no entertainment, and you said you can either sit in this jail cell bored on your skull, or I'll put you at the end of this shovel and you can dig a hole. And that's why, seriously, rather than sitting in a jail cell, people would have fucking actually wanted to work on the chain gang probably at some of the time rather than just sit until they just got so fucking beat up then they actually needed to go to their jail cell to rest. But as long as they felt good, they would rather go out and beat on a fucking railroad track at least until they got so beat up from the fucking activity being so high than sit in their jail cell.
Yeah.
Right? Like fuck, it's outdoor time. Like, this is the real problem. And these people want to dodge the real problem. It's easy to blame the fucking food. It's really easy to blame the food and blame the food companies and blah blah blah. Where you don't want to blame the real problem, which is you just fucking having your eyes stuck on a fucking phone. And
Yeah.
you can even see the eyesight epidemic with children. Like fuck, looking at a phone chronically at a down angle just completely fucks your eyes. It literally elongates your fucking eyes. It'll change the shape of your eyeball. Like and then it'll fucks with the focal point, and then they get the fucking glasses because that's how it works. The next scam, and then the glasses actually make the problem worse because your eyes are like a muscle.
Yeah.
And if you get nearsighted because you're always looking down at this phone, if you start looking at distance, and that's why sadly, driving, you're sitting a lot, but driving is actually very good for the eyes. But better than walking out in nature, going outside, or a bike ride, right? But because the way when you drive, you're scanning the area, and it makes it makes your ciliary muscle relax. But what happens with these kids? They throw the glasses on them because as soon as they can't read the letter on the screen, the parents panic and get glasses. and they don't understand those glasses just keep fucking up that focal point really bad, and that's why the diopters will get higher and higher and higher, like they need stronger and stronger lenses. But you can work it back the other way, but it takes work, because when your eyesight gets bad, most people, you can try this yourself. A lot of people don't want to actually look at distance because it takes work. Like if you're driving your car and your eyesight's getting bad, to actually try to focus on the smallest thing the farthest away, it takes like a little bit of uh deliberate. You got to be deliberate.
Word.
Or if your eyes start getting bad, you'll always take the path of least resistance, and you'll start always looking closer and closer and closer. So
Damn.
your eyes fucking adapt like everything else. So if you let your sight get bad, like these children, they would flip a switch back the right way really quick if the fucking parents just took away the cell phones. It would be done with it. Their eyesight would get better in like 5 fucking days. Sometimes
Oh,
the ciliary muscle in there that runs the lens, like it makes the lens flex, flatten, and bend. That
yeah.
ciliary muscle locks up like a locked up bicep. Like if you held something in a bent bicep for a while, and a lot of times if you just get rid of the screens for even three days, you'll feel some stinging. But if you go for like a long drive and you just really let your eyes work, you'll fucking shake off like that muscle will relax, and it'll let that lens flatten out, and you'll notice everything starts clearing right up.
Damn.
Man, it's fucking nuts, man. How, like, man, the kind of shit like this. It's everyone makes all the money's made on all this fucking soft ass shit. Like I'm gonna make a video about this. I was gonna today, but we'll do. I've been sleeping on the fucking floor. All right,
Ah,
I've been sleeping on the fucking floor since 2018.
I was gonna say you've been doing this for a minute.
And you know why it started? Because I was living with all these people, helping people with weight loss and shit, and I was buying all those blow up mattresses. But they would always go flat on me. And so then you wake up laying on the floor anyway, right? Fuck. Because in the middle of the night, they start leaking and fucking, right? And then I got this bed that was like a 3-fold memory foam that I could throw on the floor. But that was a pain in the fucking ass because I had to haul it around. Not to mention beds. Every bed gets pounded out. So
Yeah.
you gotta switch sides, and it'll pound out where your hips are, and it'll make you give you back problems. Is what happens. And no matter how hard of a bed you get, you can't get it hard enough. So finally, I was like, it was more for like a minimalist attitude. I'm like, I want to get rid of this fucking bed that I'm carrying around. And so I'm like, I know those sumo wrestlers sleep on those futons. Like this shit's nothing new. This is like,
Yeah.
like this is nothing new. Just North Americans are a bunch of pussies, man. So I'm looking at these sumo, and it's hard to find it. Those sumo wrestler camps, you can't just find video and footage because sumo wrestlers, like they live in those camps. But I found a picture of a sumo wrestler. He's on a CPAP machine, and they're all sleeping on the ground, right? And I'm like, if these fucking guys can do it, I can do it. Fuck. So that's how it started. And so I've been sleeping on about an inch worth of yoga mats. So 2 yoga mats. So it's hard. Like if you punched it, your knuckles wouldn't hit the fucking floor. But it's
Yeah.
like only like that. And I'll tell you, man, like my shoulders and my back and everything is better when you sleep on the fucking floor. It's natural as fuck. Bed mattresses are a fucking scam. And you know how much money they make on this fucking shit? Like, and there was a girl, and she was a nanny, and she was having a time with getting this kid to sleep. And I know I've actually had multiple situations like this where I was telling some of these women they had a baby and they put the baby in the crib, which is not natural at all because there's like walls around the crib and shit too. Like you got bars and shit, right? And I told him just bring the baby out, throw something on the floor, and then make sure that the baby can't crawl out of that area and have like a lot larger space where the baby can move. And the baby just sleep like a fucking baby if you throw him on the floor.
Damn.
It's ludicrous, man. But it's that soft bullshit, and that's why you can blame that on a lot of back problems. And like the way, even when you're a side sleeper, the way you're if you start getting a bed that has the big slouches in it, it'll make your arm go like higher up in the air if you're a side sleeper, and it'll choke your shoulder off bad enough that I used to wake up sometimes in my arm. I felt like I was gonna lose my arm, like there's just no blood in it at all.
Damn.
And then my back and my hip, like it's just the way we're meant to sleep is on the fucking ground. And as soon as you do that, then all of a sudden, like it simplifies your life, right? So like even it's just like one less thing, especially when you're talking furniture and shit, or like happen to get a new bed, and it's like beds are expensive as fuck, man. And like that's a market, man. Everyone's got a bed, and beds are a fucking scam. And like I say, the optical industry is fuck. They provide a service for people that are fucking so stupid they let their sight go to shit. Is what they're doing.
Word.
Same with everything else, right? Like blood sugar control drugs, fucking Ozempic, all this fucking shit. It's just and it comes back to people just being lazy as fuck. And I would have to blame probably the high speed mobile internet is the worst fucking thing known to man. Over and above food is nothing to do with this bigger problem.
Oh, fact. Did you see that? I know we were shitting on studies before, but this one was they say in the next 50 years, not even a ripped body, they're saying that a fit body is going to be rarer than both a Rolex and $1 million.
For sure. Like, there's no, like, even when you go out right now, and this is where I try to tell people are living in fucking like internet land.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's multiple young guys I talk to at the gym, and these fucking guys literally have they're so subconscious about their body, self-conscious, and they look good. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's where, like, a lot of them, like, even some of these young guys that are still, like, drug-free, they're scared to eat normal. They're scared to have a little bit of, they're scared to have, like, washed-out abs in the name of trying to build more fucking muscle.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking nuts.
Or just be at a healthier body weight that attributes to like longevity as opposed to just the aesthetic of being that lean. You know
what's actually funny talking about that too? They're like, your VO2 max, like basically how good a shape you're in, is one of the best indicators of how long you're gonna live. That and your grip strength.
Grip strength, yeah.
VO2 max,
hip mobility too.
If you have a very high VO2 max, you're in shape. Right off the bat, you're not gonna be fat. There's no way you're gonna be super fat with a crazy high VO2 max.
Yep.
And then secondly, the grip strength is going to show that you're strong still. You got muscle mass on you, so you're not getting weak. And that's going to be some of the biggest indicators. And then, like, obviously, like sleep. But if you start getting like sleep's at the top of the list to make these other things like, better. So if your sleep's really bad, your VO2 max will suffer from that. Obviously, you're not going to build the muscle as good from that. And things that'll fuck your sleep up is the same shit. Cell phones at fucking night right before bed. Especially cell phones and internet, because it's so like it lights you up so much. It's not like putting on like The Godfather at night to watch for a bit. Like The Godfather's not going to keep you awake, man.
Facts. The Irishman or something.
New Transformer movies or some shit. Fuck, man. Your eyes are like bugged out of your head, like, or the way the internet works, how like even scrolling, right? And you know what else? Scrolling makes you even move your thumb. That's part of what keeps you awake, because you have to keep moving the thumb.
Damn.
I didn't even hear that anywhere, man. I just fucking said that just now. And I'm serious, so it makes sense, because that's how I would stay awake if I was up for like a long shift, like driving home when I used to work night shifts when I was working operating. If I was fucking tired and didn't snag my nap, because we try to get some sleep on night shift, but you're coming home and you're like, fuck. It's like you're fucking almost falling asleep at the wheel. I'd always be shaking my knees. I would shake my fucking knees just to keep myself awake so I didn't fucking hit a moose on the drive home. But that's what you normally try to do, is you try to move to stay awake, right?
Yeah.
But the beauty of fucking scrolling is it does it for you, because you have to keep moving that fucking thumb.
Bruh.
Man, it's crazy. Some of these fat pigs, they might not have abs on their abdominal, but like fucking some of them should have a 6-pack on their thumb.
Bro, they got overdeveloped thumbs.
Yeah, their thumbs just got like Arnold Schwarzenegger's bicep.
The fuck out of here,
Man, it's fucking. This is the fucking. It's just that, I've been busting people on fucking diet and fasting, and when you really look at the real problems, the very thing that I use to make money is a problem, sadly, which is the internet. And like, what's funny? Remember way back in the day when I never had any social media?
Yeah.
And then I started using it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, before I had the social media, it was probably, my life was less noisy for sure. Like, optimally, like, I do make a living from social media, but optimally, I'd want to cut out of my life. There's no doubt about it, right? And I could, but that's where I got to be disciplined on how I use it. Like, my screen time's actually very low.
Sick.
Things that I do that most people don't do would be, my phone is like always off. My phone is always in my room, or if I go on a longer road trip, it's off in the console of my truck. It's not on. It's only on when I'm actually coaching people or taking calls.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not using it the way most people like you. Like, I fucking don't have it at the fucking gym. Like, at all. Like, I don't know if you do, but like, I don't ever have it on me. Ever. I like to just, be like it, like the noise, like, it's just, I like to, when I'm training, I just like it to be like almost like I'm just in a dungeon.
Yeah.
I used to listen to music when I do some cardio back in the day. Like, if I did a run, I'd use the music. If I get through this song at like this speed on the treadmill, I'd use a little bit of motivation. But then it was on me too. I don't like things on me when I'm working out. I don't like, that was back in the old days. I had a fucking Panasonic Shockwave, and I literally had this like spandex belt that it went in, and I would hang it on the arm of the treadmill, because if you ran with it on you, it would start skipping after like 40 seconds, because it has a second delay. So I'd have to hang it on the treadmill, and then the cord's going in my headphones. And then that's when the freaking iPods came, those little ones, and I started using those, and I clipped those on. But then, after a while, I just didn't even want those on me when I was doing shit. But yeah, I digress. Like, yeah, but when we're talking about the fucking sitting time is the biggest problem. How much weight? And fuck, I didn't even talk about how much weight you actually lost. 48 pounds.
48 pounds, almost motherfucking 50 pounds, dog.
And you're still just doing a meal a day now, huh?
Yeah, even the last couple days, I just been boiling bone broth. So now I'm gonna start breaking my fast with a cup of bone broth and some
What
vegetables.
about the sauna? Are you still using the sauna?
Yeah. Just did an hour session this morning.
That's even funny. Like, some of this stuff, even the sauna work and the cold therapy, fuck, anything people can make a buck on, like fuck, we don't know like how to use a like, they make up some protocol where, oh, you got to use the sauna exactly this length of time, blah blah blah, or the cold therapy, and it's like, fuck, like, if you want to do it, just do it. Like, people just almost live like, before, when science used to come out in the past, it wasn't monetized like now, like with the internet. So like, everybody wants to put it out and like make a name for themselves. That's why in specific areas, a lot of the literature is just dog shit, because people, the study's not done well, and they'll say anything to just make a buck, and it's something you already fucking know anyway. Like, like, eat less. Like, it's just, everyone wants to try to Like, you know what I mean? It's like everyone's so worried about optimizing, and then they get like so sidetracked they don't even start anything.
Yep.
You know, they won't even start anything. They won't start nothing. Like, and
Yeah.
that's why I think taking the focus off the diet with some of these people that are morbidly obese and putting the focus on the movement is actually where it's at. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. But as soon as you put the focus on the movement, the diet puts itself in check.
100%. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
where if they're always only focusing on diet, it just ends up feeling like a grind. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it's like, well, I'm still sitting on my ass, and now I'm trying to just like fight the urge to eat, and I'm sitting here. Where
Mm-hmm.
if they keep themselves busy, if they're going to the gym or going to the park or just fucked, man,
Anything.
why
Anything.
even standing around? Like they can't even, man. They can't even stand for like a period of time that's like a half hour. Some of them are so fat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Damn.
got to get the fuck up. They just got to get the fuck up. Like, and I see fat people always like everyone gets in their arguments about diet this, diet that. Fuck, it's bullshit. If they
Mm-hmm.
if they OMAD's good enough. If they did OMAD, to curb not fucking up during the day,
Mm-hmm.
then they just practice getting up, even if it's little stints all day. More volume with the standing time. There's just no way they're gonna remain like 300 pounds. But
Facts.
you know how hard it would be for you to even get to 300 pounds?
I gotta do nothing, bro. Nothing.
You have to do absolutely nothing and force feed. It would be very, very hard. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you got to be, and then some of them will be like, "Well, you haven't been 300 pounds." Fuck. The people that did get fat are the people that fucking actually fucking gave an effort.
Mm-hmm.
People are always fucking playing the victim. It's like
Yeah.
you should be bragging that I was never morbidly obese. Should be what you're bragging about. Yeah,
Facts,
how
bro.
me and you were both born like we were both born a normal body weight. How the fuck did I maintain say a proper body weight my whole life, but you fucking got to 500 fucking pounds?
Facts.
That's the difference.
Facts.
Because I was working at least enough to maintain a normal body weight, and you didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they want a
Mm.
fucking victim card for that. It's like, oh no, like we were born equal. Equal as far as like, you know what I mean? Like equal,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you weren't predisposed to being morbidly obese, other than like, yeah, because your parents maybe let you do this and that, and so on and so forth. But at this point, when you're no longer a child, like when you're not an innocent child and you can make decisions easy and you know what actually is right,
Yeah.
to lose that fucking weight to get to normal weight is laughably easy. Like that, you got to eat like a fucking disgusting pig to maintain a body weight that's like 100 pounds over normal. Like to get to that kind of weight, like it's insane. It's insane how fucking lazy you have to be to get
Mm-hmm.
that heavy. And it's not the fucking food. I'm talking lazy where you will not stand up off the fucking couch.
Because
Like
that's even the thought experiment of myself trying to get to 300 pounds. It's like, man, I gotta be mentally in a very bad place to even get myself there. You know?
and you gotta be completely sedentary, like completely. Like it's that hard. It's so hard. Like you'd have to force feed so hard to get up there, and it would take a while. It would take a lot. It wouldn't be like overnight. Like even when I got up to 207 on that one, when I pounded the food there for like 6 weeks to do that 15-day fast.
Yeah.
Like man, I was forcing it in. And I was lifting weights, but it was like fairly low volume, heavy with like no cardio. And me and my buddy were going to McDonald's right after the workout. We were going to the fucking gym at like 1. And right after the workout, I was literally going to McDonald's and eating at least 5 double fucking Big Macs. Or double quarter pounders.
Quarter
So we're
pounders.
talking $4,000 or $5,000 there with other shit. and then I would go home after I dropped him off, zonk out for a couple hours, get up, and smash back a pile of sugar. Like, I'm talking, like, I would try to eat like a half a fucking can of dates plus more fucking like chocolate almonds, like trash. Like, the dates aren't trash on their own, but I mean like a pile of fat and carbs.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted my blood sugars through the fucking roof because then I knew I was gonna gain the most weight for sure. And by the end, I'm not even kidding you, man. But like 2-3 days before I finally started the fast, I'm like, I better start this fast soon. I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack because I was definitely getting some chest pains from gaining that weight that quick. Yeah. But you know, yeah. So like for me to have to force it that hard, you know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking way, you know, there's just no way that somebody could even get fat. Like, people just dwell on diet, and you know, you kind of proved that, you know, you could go a meal a day and still eat some loose meals, and you lost what I would call a lot harder 50 pounds than for you to lose that 50. This is another thing, man. For you to lose that 50 to go to where you're at now from the start is way fucking harder than somebody that would have been 400 pounds trying to get to your starting weight.
Facts.
It's way like the lower the weight gets, exponentially gets more difficult to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like I mean extreme exponentially. Like, for me to maintain 185 pounds, I just gotta like put in some cardio, pump iron, eat relatively clean, you know, fucking piles of carbs still, and I'll maintain 185 forever. But so that means I'm doing like no, like that, and the diet's not even on my mind when I'm maintaining 185. I don't even have to think about it. As soon as I start chipping down, where I'm trying to get down to like say under 180, now I gotta watch shit a little bit. And if I'm trying to get from like 175 down to, and this is holding on to a pile of muscle.
Word.
Like I could fucking, you could do some dieting. Like, I showed people, man, you fucking drink pop or straight sugar with no protein, or you do like a strict ketogenic diet, low protein, high fat, is another extreme macro split. They will get you, you'll lose weight quick. But the thing is, the fucking zero protein, the diet with crazy low protein on both ends is not good for holding on to muscle. It's not good for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So now I got to make adjustments for that. So I would have to cut the training volume down because there's no fucking way I'm recovering from the resistance training I do on a fucking diet that's very low protein on either end. Even if it's low protein, high fat, or low protein, high carb. Like, when it's really low. You know, you got to restrict something to get lean.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to, it might even be the weight training's got to be restricted. Because if the volume's too fucking high, you won't recover.
Interesting.
That is where, if you're trying to get really ripped, 2-day a week full body, 1 day a week full body, like, these are tactics to get really lean, right? Or, man, it's really hard to keep weight on if you're doing straight body weight exercise as well. But now, if you're like a cardio rat, like you see some of these cyclists, for example, you know, they're running a crazy high carb diet on straight sugar. Like, a lot of them are very low on the protein. But that doesn't suit my lifestyle specifically. It doesn't suit my lifestyle. Because like all the training I do, like, they're not strong. They're not strong. Like, their upper bodies are laughably weak. Right? So it depends how you want to live your life. But you take the guys, like, that's why, like, calisthenics guys, like bodyweight guys, like, that's why I always like going to calisthenics when if I'm trying to get really lean, because it's easy to it's easy to run a deficit with the bodyweight training.
Wow.
It doesn't tear the muscles up as hard as when you're like pumping iron in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, so but that's a whole other, when you're trying to go from normal to lean, is not even, it shouldn't even be in the conversation. Really.
Yeah, it's a different game. Different
Yeah,
game.
because these people, if they want to, you know, if they like, and that's really what a lot of the content's about, is trying to get really lean, which is really pointless for like 99% of the public.
Yeah.
Pointless. It really is, because it's not the problem. It makes them forget about where the real problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Diet is hugely important when it comes to going from what I would call a good, healthy body weight to very lean. Then it's all diet.
Then it's everything.
Yeah, it's all diet, and it's diet and recovery and how you manage your recovery.
Yeah.
And it's all diet. So for example, that's where people, if they're preaching a fruit only diet or crazy high carb diet, then that's obviously very specific to diet, right? Like, or if they're preaching a zero carb, whatever it is. But when you're a normal body weight, to go from obese, like morbidly obese, to what I would say is normal, the diet is like really does not matter that much as like just general activity. That's the only way you're going to get that fat. It's the only fucking way. I've talked to so many super fat people, and I talk to them. Okay, what's your day look like? Your 24 hours, and every time they're literally doing nothing.
Wow.
Like nothing. Like, I mean, fucking nothing. And they're eating a pile because of it. Like that's what it mainly comes back to. So let's talk quick about your channel, what you're doing for the Rapper Reacts videos.
Art and fitness. So we did do a pile of these 1 meal a day videos for a year. We'll still start squeaking them out, but I'll probably start throwing together a couple days into one video as opposed to just dropping one every single day. But something that's taken off recently is the Rapper Reacts videos. I've been reacting to just musical performance, music videos, kind of anything art, and they've been taking off. They've been going crazy, so it's been fun.
So if you guys have a song and you want him to react to it, if you go to his channel and put in the comments, hey, react to this song. It could be from 1900 or new.
Yeah.
And he'll listen to your song and he'll react to it on video. Yeah, I have a question here. Carol Kippenborst donated me $12. Says, hey, Cole, 6'5". Carol, not Carol, mate. Hey, Cole, 6'5", 286 pounds. I'd love to get into the high rep training. Is it a full body daily routine or is it a split? Don't want to end up injuring myself. You can do full body. You can listen to your body. You know when you're getting beat up, you need some rest. Okay, you can do whatever you want. Work on the weak points. Okay, if you only want to hit legs once a week, hit legs hard once a week, twice a week. Frequency is always good. Okay, like if you want your arms to blow up, train them every day until you can't train them. Like, the thing is, the weight's light enough that you're not going to beat up the soft tissue, like the tendons the same, so you can rack up so much more work capacity and volume. And then obviously the muscles, if they feel like fatigued to the point where you just need a day off, get a day off. Okay, it's just about stacking as much volume as you can get on those muscles with short rest intervals and that nasty pump. Mm-hmm. That nasty, not like, example would be push-ups. Let's just say push-ups. There's a big difference for me telling somebody to do 10 push-ups every hour for 10 hours. They had 100 push-ups, or doing 10 push-ups every 30 seconds. See, what do you think is going to build a bigger chest and triceps? See the volume you're stabbing in. So if you did 10 push-ups every 30 seconds to hit 100 push-ups, you're only looking at 300 seconds worth of push-ups. So basically 5 minutes worth of push-ups. 5 minutes you're hitting 100 versus 10 hours. That 10 push-ups an hour won't do shit. Because what's not happening, you're not getting a nasty fucking pump. Mm-hmm. See, the pump. People want to deny it, and it's those fucking hit zealots. Oh, you don't need to get a pump to build muscle. That may be true to a point. But I'll tell you right now, that fucking pump burning is the number one indicator that you're going to grow. Mm-hmm. It's the number one indicator that you're going to grow. Because if there's no pump there, just because you might be chipping the weights up, but like I said, you can get very strong and build like no fucking muscle for months.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens on those strength blocks. Do you think I build muscle on a strength block? You don't. Once like if you're at your if you've been training for years and you're trying to make little gains on a 1 rep max on a bench press, that's why I always go back to that example. In the strength block where the volume drops through the floor and the weights go way up, you ain't building no muscle on that strength block. All the muscle is being built on that fucking volume block.
Yeah.
You ain't building any muscle in that strength block. In fact, by bringing the volume down like to maybe 20-30% of what it was, you could actually lose fucking muscle on that strength block. You could lose muscle on that strength block, not a bunch, but you could lose muscle and still crank up your 1 rep max by like maybe the strength block might get you another 10%. So say I come out of the volume block and I could do a 1 rep max, and I actually tested my 1 rep max. Hitting like those 185, like 225 and all that lower rep, like lower weights with big reps. I could hit that 1 rep max, probably maybe still hit a 335-pound 1 rep max, let's say. Or something like that. Like I've done that. I actually hit 315 for a double after I only touched 215 for 4 months. I only benched 215 pounds, and that was when I was 175-pound body weight.
Oof.
But it was the rep work. But if I would have went into that strength block and started doing my heavy stuff, then my 1 rep max would have went up probably from the day that I quit the volume work. Say my 1 rep max, I tested it and I did hit like 330.
Yeah.
From the strength block, I might get that 330 up to 360. That's how it works.
Damn.
The whole point is you never have to hit that strength block, ever.
Yeah,
Nobody
I see.
in the gym ever has to hit fucking weights that are like that you wouldn't be able to at least hit 10 reps with. You really don't.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Not if you're trying to get big and get in shape and lose more weight and you want to put more volume on your body without getting injured. A lot of these channels, there's some pretty good channels on YouTube right now with some older guys that are over 50. There's one guy that was talking about using lighter weights and hitting them fucking hard. I think he's got 20,000 subscribers. I could shout him out. I think his channel is 50, fit over 50 or something. There's a few guys, but this guy specifically trains with a lot lighter weight than he used to, and he hammers the shit out of those weights. And you can and in fact the results he was getting were better than when he was trying to throw around a bunch of fucking heavy shit when he was younger.
Of course.
So like it's even yourself, like what's your training routine? Sorry, I'm just gonna bang through these real quick. I just got a couple questions.
No, let's go, bro.
Sherry Morgan, do you want to put in on that at all? Like with the volume, even if when you're like lifting back in the day when you're doing all the rep work, like first how big you?
Oh man. Oh yeah, when I was doing bodybuilding training specifically, it was just volume through 10 by 10s, freaking just whatever, German volume train, whatever to get as much work in at the gym as possible.
See, I like how you just said whatever. And that's what I had to learn because when I very first started doing a lot of volume work, I was still chasing the numbers a little bit. But really, you could stay at the same weight and just make it fucking harder. Do another set. Fail again on the same weight. Like a lot of times, you're doing like 10 by 10 German volume training, like short rests, and like you fail like multiple times in that block of reps. Like I might end up failing on set number 7 where you're hanging it up and then you count to like 10 and hit another. Like that's what we're talking about when Jordan just said whatever. That's what you guys need to listen to, that idea of when you're trying to train with a lot of volume. Don't get caught up in the fucking number on the weight. Hit it hard. There's so many weight ranges you can still build muscle. 30% that like just grab a weight that feels like you can own it and it doesn't feel like there's bad tension on your joints and fucking hit it. You're always better off to go lighter and smash it as hard as you can till you can't like even lift it. And if you end up doing like 200 reps and it's like sets of 25, then bump it up.
Yep. Yeah. You're only not building muscle after like 30 plus reps, you know?
Exactly.
That fuck it, that's a ton.
Even then, even then, like shit. If you're doing push-ups and you were smashing them hard enough, you know, you could like, especially if you're a newbie lifter, fuck you. Like, fuck, man. There's people that haven't graduated. Most people haven't graduated push-up gains. They haven't. They haven't graduated the gains they'd make from just doing push-ups.
Yep.
It's
Facts.
the gyms give people too much fucking choice.
Yeah.
On load.
Yeah.
Like, people don't need that choice. Like, most guys, if they had a set of 25-pound dumbbells and just got to where they could murder those for crazy amounts of volume, and they got to the point where they're hitting them every night for like 200 reps, and they're taking like 5-second rest, you think you're not going to build a bicep from that shit? Like, of course you are. There's guys that don't train that intensely that work in the oil patch, that work rigs, that have jacked arms, and you know, it's not like they're in the gym moving weights. Like, your muscle doesn't know the difference. As long as you're working, you know, as long as you're working. Sherry Morgan donated me $5. Says, thank you, Cole, so much for awesome entertainment. Cole, would love to hire you as a coach. If you want me to give you some help, you can message me on Instagram, Snake Diet Wizard, or Facebook Messenger, Cole Robinson. Yeah, what did your split look like when you're doing the bodybuilding work?
A week.
Yeah, see, the guy that asked me that question earlier about the split, it all depends. Like, you know, if you don't fucking talk about your legs, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I've been training legs lately, like once every 2 fucking weeks, man. I need to get fucking jacked.
Word.
It's just recovery that I don't need all that fucking recovery ability going into my legs. I got big enough fucking legs, man. I want to fucking be able, like, I was talking about like people. Like, people, when we're talking about a normal body weight, what most of the men should be striving for is getting fucking fat jacked.
Word.
To be you looking good. If you are fat jacked, if you got clothes on, you look good. If you're so fat that with clothes on you look fat, you're fat. That's a fucking good point, man. That is a good, because there's a lot of these natural bodybuilders on YouTube, and when they're on a legitimate bulk, when they put clothes on, they look good because their stomach doesn't hang out past their chest. That's what most men should strive for, is fucking fat jacked first.
Word.
And then obviously, if you take your shirt off, you're still gonna look better than 99% of the people out there. Are you gonna have fucking cut up abs? No.
No.
Okay, but you're gonna look good. Okay, you're gonna be healthy. You're gonna have work capacity. You're not gonna look like a little bitch if you went out with your buddies to the bar. You know, that's one of the fucking like things that negatives, like when I was down like in the 160s, those are some major negatives. Yeah. Like, negatives where you're so fucking small that even like taking a hit, like say if you wiped out on something, like you went for a dirt bike ride or something, you took a wipe, and you versus having that extra 10 pounds on you, man, it makes a difference. You know, like, there's a very fine line to where fucking getting too lean because of you fucking feel like a loser because you're watching too many fucking guys on YouTube, that it's gonna affect your lifestyle, you know, or like you definitely can't get loose even on an OMAD diet. You can't get overly loose unless you're doing a lot of fucking cardio to make up the difference. Where that 10 pounds covers that looseness in the diet. You only got to be 10 pounds over very lean to make it like a joke to live that way. Or like other things, like when I get too light, like, because like, you know, I boxed for years when I was a kid. Well, up until I was like 26, I still fucking had to fight. But anyway, I can hit way harder. Man, like when I'm fucking like 185, man, versus throwing like hooks at like say 170, like it's deadly how hard I can hit when I'm in my 180s. You know, versus like it's not even close. And not just that, there's a sweet spot for performance. I'm literally faster when I'm like low 180s because I have that much more strength. You know, there's certain things that it that's why people they got to understand if you're fat, you want to get normal. Don't worry about getting fucking trying to go from normal to really ripped unless you have a good reason, really, like because it's a pointless goal, really.
Yeah.
People, you know what I mean? It's a it's.
Mhm.
What about yourself? Like you've been really lean before, and you did that bodybuilding competition. Fucking
Yeah.
felt like shit.
Oh yeah, constantly getting sick. That was a huge one. I was always sick. I was weak as shit. I remember deadlifting 135 and dying. You know, peak week, that last week, I was just trying to get a little extra workout in. And I remember getting up to that fucking deadlift 135, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm exhausted. You know, and now the difference is I'm 180 and I feel I'm strong as fuck.
Man, you know how big the difference is? Like when I was at my peak, when I was competing in powerlifting, so I did bench press double body weight so I was competing at 82 kilo and I bench pressed 165 kilo. Now, when I was training in my when I started getting the weights up and moving out of my volume into the heavier shit, I could hit 315 pounds for a set of 9. And that was at a walk around weight of about 188, and then I cut water to compete, right?
Word.
I could only hit 315, like if I was training properly at say 172 if I got down there for like if I'm like a double, like 2 versus 9.
Fuck.
That extra 10 fucking pounds gave me 7 reps more because the leverages too, right? Like the actual
Yeah.
leverages, you got more fat in some areas.
Mhm.
You know, like and the one I wouldn't lose a lot on my deadlift because the way the leverages are a little bit different, but that bench press is definitely a fat guy sport. Like you see the biggest benches in the world are fat asses. Like straight.
Word.
So like, you know, if I would have pushed myself up to 200 pounds when I was still competing, I may have benched 400. I benched 375 in the gym for a touch and go. I might have got up to 400 if I would have like pushed myself up to the 93 kilo weight class. But I don't want to be 93 fucking kilos. See, that's the
Word.
other thing when we're talking about weight loss. Like I like to be right in the mid 180s, maybe low 180s optimally, maybe cracking under 180. But that maybe would depend if I go and start doing more cardiovascular work. Like if I start doing more swimming because I just
Yeah.
want to swim more, then the weight would come down. But then I wouldn't be able to put out probably as much in the gym, like for that work capacity in the gym, right?
For
Where,
sure.
that's kind of the biggest difference with it, like where people got to, yeah, like they got to forget about fucking trying to get like stupid lean what they see on the internet and they got to just focus on getting to where they're fucking fat jacked. Even some of the women, man, that get a hold of me, man. I've had women get a hold of me that are like, what the fuck you need my help for? Like, you look good, you idiot. You know? And then I'm like, what the, and then because they're watching too much shit on fucking Instagram. It's insane, man. Like their bodies are fine. They just had to make a little tweak to like a little adjustment to their day to day routine. Like maybe cut out the fucking lattes. That's it. You know, it's not like they were morbid obese women. Like it's fucking ludicrous. And a lot of those women, if they fucking wanted to get that little bit better body and they want to lose that last 10 pounds, just take a look at your diet. You don't got to cut the carbs or nothing. Just clean up some blatant junk out of there, but work harder in that gym. Because if they can put on like a few pounds of muscle, they're going to bring their BMR up and they're naturally going to lean out. Well, maybe we'll wrap this up. Yeah, it was a long one. Did you have anything else you want to say about your channel?
Big podcast. It was like an hour long where I talk about, the 1 year. I talk about some of the meals that I ate, the macros I hit, and stuff like that. So if you want to go run that up, there's a whole bunch of comments that I've answered and questions. But stay tuned. I'm just dropping hella reaction videos.
Okay, awesome, buddy. Okay, we'll wrap it up, and until next time.
That
Can you hear me?
Oh, it was breaking up. It was breaking up.
Until next time, just stand up, fatty.